Welcome into episode number 102 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, wait, where is he? Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins. He's on assignment in the Great White North. I have a special guest hosting tonight, Mike Sommer at the Mike Sommer. Sporting the Mojo shirt. Love it. That's great. Anytime we can support those guys, I appreciate it. And I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. And we are a podcast by collectors for collectors. Hoping to bring you a smart, insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
There we go on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We'll be able to podcast everywhere. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Mike, before we get into it, I want to notice we both have amazing Corona facial hair going on. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll get this thing fixed, but it's good to see that. I know that, So there was some crazy news on Twitter earlier today, some back and forth, and I want to get into that before we start tonight's show. We had a guest, but I asked to have the guest come on another week, and we're going to do that. I feel bad because I think it's the second time we've had to move it around, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen tonight, so. Mike has been scheduled to come on the show for, a handful of days here since Steph was going to be away. Put out a video from our handle About the Cards on Twitter saying that Ben Wilson's going to be no longer part of About the Cards. Well, guys, families fight. And, we've been doing this thing for 100-plus episodes. And we've had disagreements. And, we both kind of have all of us have different opinions on different things. And we've butted heads a little bit, but you figure it out. And I think we both went a little too far this afternoon. We're both grown-ups and adults. And to the thanks of Steph being a middleman, we've kind of worked some things out, and we've talked to Steph, each of us individually. And we're going to revisit things, and Ben's going to take a couple weeks off the show with a real good possibility of returning at some point. We don't know what that's going to look like yet or what the show will be. But going forward, tonight you're going to have Mike and myself. And next week, Steph and I will be on. Maybe with somebody else hanging out. I don't know. We'll see. We've had a couple people said that they would love to come on and hang out. So, we're going to move on from that. But I want to let you guys know if you have any questions and if you want to reach out to me at Big Shep on Twitter at 79, please do. And we'll chat there, but that's kind of where I'm going to leave it on the show. We'll figure things out, and they're always fluid, and I think clear heads and taking a breath can help, and taking a step back. So let's get into it, Mike. So what's your collecting week been like this last week? I always like to know what have you been up to? It's been a while since we've had you on the show.
Yeah, I've got a few things going on collecting wise. One of my things I'm most excited about was picked up a couple Slurpee 711 discs, a couple of the 1985 test issue. They were kind of a jumbo size, a little bit bigger, kind of hard to find. And somebody read my article on the website, commented, "Hey, your article prompted me to go look for some of these that I had. And actually, I've got these other two, just listed them on eBay." And I said, "I'll be right there." And so went and tracked those down, which was neat. So I've got a couple of the test discs that are coming my way. Still been buying some 2020 cards, which has been kind of fun. A buddy of mine found some Bowman retail and picked up some hanger packs, I guess, for me. And so I opened up some of those and was able to buy a lot of cards from somebody else locally to kind of finish out my Bowman set. So that was kind of fun. And then just a lot of content this week too. Couple interviews I did. I was on the Breaker Culture podcast this morning that came out today, I guess this afternoon. We had chatted, and actually Ben is going to be the interview guest on my podcast on Friday. We chatted
awesome.
a few days ago, and so Ben will be on the podcast this coming Friday. And so, yeah, a lot going on.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I finished up my Bowman set on Sunday night, and I needed one Bowman Chrome left, and I picked that up on eBay for like $1.
Yeah, I guess I should say I needed one Chrome after all of that as well, and I'd ordered it on Sport Lots, so I'm kind of considering.
Yeah, I was gonna. No one had it on Sport Lots, the one, so I don't know. Like, as I got a majority of it from there, which I went through, and just before we get into any of this, the other day I took $35, and I went into Sport Lots, and I went back and I looked at 18 draft, Bowman. This is all Bowman stuff, so 18 Bowman draft, 19 Bowman draft, 2020 Bowman, 2019 Bowman draft, and just went through and it was like, this guy's good, 48 cents, 18 cents, 29 cents. These cards were so cheap. I just started ordering a bunch of them, and I was like, because I looked at what I had in my ComC account, which I had bought a bunch of these guys back for like around 75 cents or $1. And then some more of them popped up on Sport Lots, and they were way cheap. And so I was buying all those guys up and waiting for those to come. So that is fun versus trying to go out and find a blaster for $20. You're not getting all the chrome, and all of the chromes I bought were all first chrome.
Yep.
So first Bowman chromes of these guys, and if they don't turn out, I'll throw them in a quarter box, whatever. One of them's got to make it do well. I think I found a pitcher, which sounds weird because I don't do pitchers, but I think I have a guy in pitching who does not have an autograph, but first Bowman Chrome. So that's what I've been looking at. So that was fun, and it's nice to get that pulled off. I'd love to sit and just open. I was watching Phil Hughes did a video. I don't know if you saw. He opened 12 blasters, 2 hobby, and 1 jumbo box of Bowman to kind of show what it's like.
Yep.
He spent basically spending the same amount on each product and what your return would look like if you did. And just watch him open that. Misses the days when I used to go buy 2-3 Bowman jumbo boxes.
Yeah.
I'd spend $450 and think I was crazy and open 3 jumbo boxes and have so much fun. But
yeah, in both 18 and 17 and 18, I was in on jumbo boxes pre-ordered, months in advance at around, I don't know, $120, $130 a box or something like that. And now, that's crazy, but it's different, but you've got that Royals pitcher coming your way. It should be, should be somewhere in Kansas right now, probably. Making its way over to California. So you've got that Royals pitcher I pulled. He's making its way to you.
Awesome. And I have some wax packs for you.
Excellent. Yep.
Let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 117. Trevor Bauer, pitcher Cincinnati Reds, sold 1994 pitcher, and then Cartooth 318 Zach Gallen, rookie pitcher, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 1943. So let's see. I don't have Steph here today, so give me a sec here and pull up what it looked like. And in 1 sec, I can't pull it up here. But we had those two guys come out this week. Not a great week, both under 2,000. So, not that I expected much more.
Yeah, the living set just kind of continues to flounder. I'm still putting it together. I'm still getting those cards every week. But yeah, it's hard to get excited right now about what's going on with the living set. And that really disappoints me because I love the concept. Yeah.
No, me too. It's I think that we're going to look back and realize that I think people are going to look back and they're going to be sad they missed out on this time period during the Project 2020. I think the end of 2019 and the early part of 2020 have really hurt this, but collectors are going to look back, and the ones that are buying or got these cards are going to be very happy because they're going to be sought after when people look at this thing as a whole complete collection. So,
yep.
Make sure you check out Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and by position. We also had 1920 Upper Deck SP Authentic Hockey. We had 2020 Topps Tier 1 Baseball, 2020 Panini Score Football, and 1920 Panini Court Kings Basketball Drop. We'll hop this week hot off the presses, this week's new releases. We had Topps Living, Week 118, we had card 319, Starlin Castro, second baseman of the Washington Nationals, former Cubs superstar. And we also had card number 320, Brendan McKay, rookie pitcher of the Tampa Bay Rays, former number 3 overall pick, I believe, was playing first base and pitcher, and decided that they're using him mostly as a pitcher in Tampa.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I thought he was another one of those two-sport guys or two-position guys.
Two-position, yeah, and he's kind of leaned towards the pitcher side of things. So that's I was hoping he'd be a hitter, but because you have a hitter, they're more collectible. But I think long term, maybe that's probably better for him. We'll see. Tampa is on the verge, and hopefully we'll have a baseball season. The commission said that they're working towards it, so we'll see what happens. But you never know with the baseball commissioners we've had in the past. Like if they really are, they're just kind of like a puppet for the guys that have the money, right? So, 2020 Topps Diamond Icons baseball drop today. Only $2,500 a box, 1 pack per box, 10 cards per pack. You're going to receive 7 autographs, 2 autographed relics, and 1 relic. Unless it's a cut signature, all autographs are on card, and they're also numbered to 25 or less. There are jumbo autographed patches, and those are numbered to 25 or less. And they're going to have a large premium patch swatch on those. There's also what I thought were cool, single-player autographed relic and dual relics numbered out of 10. And multi-swatch cards also have a single player with dual team autographs. So these highlight 2 teams of a player, so like Nolan Ryan on the Angels and the Astros, which is pretty cool. And they also are going to have in these autographed diamond relics. So instead of having jersey or uniform pieces in there, they're going to have the actual gems embedded in them. Those will be the number to 10 or less. They're also going to have cleats available, and then they're also going to have 1-on-1 batter patch silhouettes. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. So big time, big dollar product. One of those I'll watch from afar. And enjoy watching people break them, but it's only $250 a card, so hopefully you hit the right guy.
Yeah, I just those high dollar cards or those high dollar products just have never really appealed to me. When I think about the size of a collection that I could buy off of Facebook or Craigslist or whatever for $2,500, and what types of things I'd be able to uncover for that. Or even a $2,500 shopping spree at the National, of where you get to hand pick exactly what you're looking for. Man, I would do that 10 times out of 10 over buying a box like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, hands down. I totally agree with you. We also, and see, Steph's not here, man. This is his favorite product. We did a 2020 Panini Donruss Diamond Kings drops today. We did a first off the line box last week, and we were the first ones on the interwebs to actually have it posted. And it was a good two nice hits, good box, and then some cards that I did not know were in there that really surprised me. So we'll get into it. And actually, I can share pictures because I have I've set that up here. So $80 a pack. $80 a box, 12 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. You're going to get an autograph, a mem card, 12 inserts, and 3 framed parallels. There's a 170 card base set, of which the last 70 are all short prints. It's basically, this release is an artistic spin covering a bunch of generations. And you're going to go back to, Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb, all the way up to Aaron Judge and, Mike Trout. They have the all-time Diamond Kings insert, which is similar to the 93 Diamond Kings design. And they also have a DK 206 and DK DeLong set. My favorite set, though, is the 300 set. It spotlights members of the Elusive Hit Club. So let me show you what that's going to look like. I'm not a huge Panini baseball fan, but this kind of gives you an idea. Here's some of the relics and autos, but this is the Diamond Kings cards.
Yeah, I like that.
It's got that nice 93 design on it. It's very clean. Here's the 206 versions, the DK06, 206, and They have autographs of those, but they're going to have this throwback look to them. They're also going to have, let's see if they have the picture. So there's another one. Here's a Mike Piazza with the Mets. They have the artist palettes, which basically shows like all the colors they used, and it just kind of gives a nice pop. Aurora, which is a pretty cool insert. There's some more of the TO6, but also the downtown checklist. These guys are some of my favorites. Those are favorite inserts. Those are 20 cards, but where did it go? Where is it? The 3,000 hit club. Come on. Oh, there we go. And obviously they're using George Brett here.
Yeah.
So they only have 15. They only have 15 subjects in this set. I'm honestly thinking about building this subset right here. You have Brett, Honus Wagner, Clemente, K-Line, Cobb, Speaker, Usual, Rose, Molitor, Naplejoy, Eddie Murray, Pujols, Ripken, Tony Gwynn, and Ichiro. But the fact that George Brett's card number 1, and it looks that awesome, I'm going to have to probably run that down. So I thought that was a pretty good look. And for $80 at this point in time, it's going to be the one box of the hobby shop that everybody can kind of get into, because everything else has been like, I mean, 150 or more. So
yeah, I have quite a few Diamond Kings cards in my Sport Lots inventory that I've picked up in other collections and things like that over the years. I've only bought, I think, one box ever directly. I just have a hard time buying Panini products brand new off the shelf. I'll add them to my collection as I get them in other big lots and things like that I'm purchasing. But Diamond Kings are probably one of my favorites of the ones that they do, just because there's a little bit of that unique aspect. The artistic nature of it kind of covers the fact a little bit or it's easier for them to cover the fact that they don't have logos and things like that on it. It seems to be with the artistic nature of the product. And so it's one of those that I like. The inserts are usually my favorite part of Diamond Kings, actually.
Yeah, no, and they kind of make up with it, like this 3,000 hit club one, and it was downtown cards kind of make up for it. And, if you look at what Panini's done with the Donruss brand, Diamond Kings and the Rated Rookie logo kind of have this everlasting goodness in the hobby, because we all remember those as kids. And now the kids see that, and I think that, especially on the basketball stuff with the Rated Rookie and the football stuff with the Rated Rookies, where they weren't there before.
Yep.
I think that's really brought the kids back into it, and now even the Rated Prospect logo, it just gives it a different feel. Because when we were kids, you would the rated rookie, no matter who it was, it's like, oh, this guy's a rated rookie, he's probably getting pretty good. And most of the guys, if you look back, were absolute garbage. Like Frank Thomas wasn't a rated rookie, but some of these other guys were. So it's just funny to go back and see. So keep it up. That's pretty good. And I ripped a box last year at the National Stuff, and I think we talked about this when we did the box break, and I think we picked them up for like $59. It was a fun rip. Like, it really was. I mean, Steph really loves it because he's done so well with it. He's gotten, Bond's autograph with awesome patches. He pulled a Babe Ruth card. I mean, when you can get that stuff out of an $80 box, of course you're going to love it. Of course it's going to be, and he keeps doing well with it. So it's, he knows where his lane, right? 2019-2020 Panini National Treasures drops on Friday. Mike, this is only $4,500 a box.
Oh, okay.
One pack, 10 cards. You're going to get 8 autographs indoor memorabilia, 1 printing plate, 1 base or parallel. There's a 100-card base set, and all those are numbered to 99. So, you only need perfect collation of 100 cases or 100 boxes to be able to do this. Yeah, you're good to go.
Easy.
Super premium cards, autographed and autographs to mem every year. Per Ryan Cracknell, the rookie patch autographs aren't the staple of National Treasures. They often represent the sport's most coveted rookie cards each year. As usual, they've got on-card SIGs and jumbo patch swatches. There are also the Logo Man autos. Those are a big chase card. And the NBA Finals nameplate. So they take the letters from the back of the jerseys worn during the 2019 NBA Finals, which featured the Raptors, the eventual champions, and the Golden State Warriors. So Warrior fans and have been pretty excited about this the last few years. So we'll pull up and take a look and kind of see what these look like. So there's the RPA of RJ Barrett with part of the E in New York. Little jump shot in his autograph. Zion Duncan with the logo, man. That's going to be a real sought after card. They have vets like Garnett in here with patches. So it's going to be fun to see. Again, I'll be the one viewing from a distance. I always like National Treasures to watch. They have a cool briefcase. But that's about, that's where I go with it. I mean, I'm not going to chase these down, but definitely fun to check out and see.
Yeah, they're such sharp-looking cards, but man, that's expensive. That's out of my league.
Yeah, again, what could you do with $4,500 to add to your PC?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of George Brett I could buy. A lot. Make sure you check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more detail on these releases. The man is unstoppable. What's brewing next week's releases? We have 2020 Panini Prizm Baseball, 1920 Upper Deck Ice Hockey, 2020 Topps Big League Baseball, save it for the kids, and 2020 Topps Pro Debut Baseball, which will give you the minor leaguers on the minor league teams, which is always fun. If you want to sort by if you break it and you want to sort it by pro teams, because you got to know those minor league teams real well. Ask Chris Torres. He had a fun fix last year for it. But it's always a super fun break. If you can't get Bowman, this is another way to get those young prospects and get autographs. We're going to talk about the Hobby Talk section of our Show and Field chatter. Hobby Hotline is live this Saturday on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget Monday Night Heat. It's live every Monday on the same channels, 4 or 5, and it's 7 or 8. We're still working out the details. We've done one of each show. We're trying to decide which is best. Mike's been on. It's always fun, right?
I was on last week's Saturday show, and I will be on, I think, next Monday's Monday Night Heat show. So nice. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my first Monday night show I've been a part of. But yeah, it's been good. It's great just having a chance to hear from other collectors and hear what's on people's minds. And we got people jumping in and jumping out all the time. And it makes a good, fun hour to hour and 15 minutes or whatever we end up running, just kind of talking cards. And so, yeah, if you're out there, check it out and please call in, because that's the reason that we're doing this is a chance to live interact with everybody that's out there.
Yeah, and check out, there's a special giveaway from Mojo Break. Listen to either one of the Hobby Hotline shows and find out how to enter, but they're giving away 2 hobby boxes of 2020 Bowman, and real easy to product to love and chase, one of the hottest ones this year. But it's a good one. So check it out. Hey, real quick, have you ever met Meth Curry?
I've heard of Meth Curry. I've never met Meth Curry, though.
Meth Curry, there he is. So this was shared by Wax Museum on Twitter. It's an artist proof sketch, a 1-of-1 from Leaf. And he called it Meth Curry.
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah. The lettering with Seth Curry on the side doesn't help much.
Yep.
It kind of looks like unfortunately the guy that was on the Celtics and the Cavs that does have an issue with Delonte West. No, but that's don't put that in. It's not, not good. I mean, yeah, I still want to give it up to Brian last week for coming in and hanging out with us and the fun chat that was going on. By the way, some of you, he was able to see the whole chat all the time. And, so at one point you noticed his hat and glasses both were taken off, but that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw these, but the target notes that were left this week. So at How the Pros Do It tweeted out, they aren't wrong. There's a note here. Collectors, if you remove the display boxes, no cards will be put out. Quit calling your friends to come get everything. the distributor. And then Christy Andrea put out one which I thought was awesome. There was a note there on a Target receipt paper. Ball card guy, can you call me, please? And a phone number.
You wonder how, if these are actual setups or if they're legit. We've seen a few of these things over the last year or so of people saying returns are no longer going to be accepted, or a variety of different signs that we've seen started to be hung out in some of these Walmart and Targets. And I think a few of them eventually came back later and said, "Oh no, I made that up. I put that up there myself because I thought it'd be, people would get a kick out of it." And so, I see these things now and I default to, is this real or not? I mean, I guess somebody could call that number and find out what's the story with what's going on there. But, I've seen a couple other signs this week of, hey, we're limiting these to, two boxes per customer. Thanks for your cooperation. Is that legit? I don't know. But that's where I go first.
Yeah, and the thing is how Target people are going to realize that it's the same person coming through, or you just go to the self-check and check yourself out, right? Again, I don't have a problem with someone wiping the shelf if that's what they want to do and they feel they can make some money off of that, and more power to you. We all understand what's in those plasters. I mean, the chances of you getting something awesome is insane. I mean, it really is. If you look at the actual statistics of hitting something, we've all seen it, but it's tough, and you might get lucky, or you turn around and you make a few bucks on each one, and hey, then you move on. And sometimes that's how you fund something you want to do bigger. To be honest, that's kind of how I funded starting to do card shows, is last year's mega boxes.
Yep.
I don't have a problem saying that. I found a bunch of mega boxes. I bought about half and took those, and found somebody else that overbought, that their credit card payment was due, and he made $2 a box, and then I sold it and I made more off of that because I could wait because I had cash, and and that's how I started what I'm doing. So to each his own, and do this. So Kevin Jones has a good point here. At this point, I think cards are going to be behind a case like razors and cosmetics. Limits need to be set on retail hoarding. That's definitely good as well. So, I mean, if they did that, I don't have a problem with that doing it either. So, and now Target on stuff is, if it opens, must exchange. That's been put on the receipt. So I know Steph sent that over as well. But if it's open and you didn't pull anything good, how are they going to know? And then you go back and you get another pack, and then you open that, there's nothing, and then you're just opening packs for free. So that to me is also a bad precedent to start. But.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's things that can be done when it comes to retail. I also, like you, don't have a problem if somebody gets there and cleans it off, cleans the shelf. That's what it's there for. It's there to be sold. But I also wouldn't be opposed to there being item limits either, if that's what the retailer wants to do and how they want to do business. And so I can see both sides of the story. I'd be okay with either of those things happening. Either way, I'm not going to get completely bent out of shape. If I go to a retail Target or Walmart and they've got cards that I'm looking for, great. If they're out, I missed out then, and I'll wait for the next thing.
Yep. No, and if you hit it lucky, like I know when my guy's gonna be at the Walmart across the street, legitimately across the street from my house. I mean, it's a 2-minute drive, because I accidentally ran into him one day, and I chatted him up. I said, "Hey, listen, like I said, hey, people bug you and stuff." I told him about the podcast, and he's like, "I appreciate people like you that understand, like you collect cards and you do this a certain way." He goes, "I'm willing to help guys like you." He goes, his biggest issue was the people stealing. And most of it was Magic and Pokemon stuff being stolen at the time. And I have a feeling he's been a little more harassed and his schedule's changed, because I've been through there a couple of times right around when he should have been there and he's not been there. And I've asked, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's been he's been moving his days around. I said, oh, that's good for him. So if you hit it and you're lucky, then awesome. And yep. I've heard stories of people driving up and down a couple of different freeways here, hitting every Target and Walmart, like every and hey, good for you if you run into it, man. But that's a lot of time and travel, and if you have the time, then I guess it's up to you, man. So
yeah, I mean, it's we were kind of talking off air earlier about the whole aspect of retail arbitrage, and there's people that make a living going to big box stores and checking the clearance aisle and seeing what the things on the clearance at a retail establishment are selling for on Amazon or eBay, and they make a living going and clearing that stuff out, buying everything that they can where it looks like there's money to be made on the flip and doing it. And that's the way that they're making a living. Cards are turning into another one of those product categories for them to check on right now. And that's just the way it is. And so I think that's just, like I said, part of doing business. And
people do with shoes,
yep,
scissors, random stuff, hoses. So, if you want to invest the time in doing that, then invest it. And, that's up to you.
Yep.
So there was some product cancellation. So I got a notice from my distributor today. It was an email from Kevin O'Neill, the hobby sales manager from Topps. He notified the distributors this week they're canceling 3 products. 2020 WWE Raw versus SmackDown, 2020 MLS, and 2020 MLS Back of the Net. All will not be produced this year. So a loss for all of us, I guess.
Well,
all I see at the retail, I know soccer is super hot right now, but all I notice at retail is a bunch of clearance wrestling cards all the time.
Yeah, we've got a lot of clearance football in our area too.
Yeah,
that I probably need to take a look at just to see what might be in there. But yeah, these are the first wave, right? 2 soccer products and a WWE product. But yeah, I'm curious to see if we see any more trickle down with Star Wars from Topps, or some of those late season baseball releases as well. But it would seem to make sense that they start freeing up some capacity there by some of the lower volume sales products like this.
Yeah, and I think it looks like Series 2 is all set up for the end of the month, so that's going to be fun. To have something kind of the Everman product. But again, man, if these prices hold up, the hobby boxes, and I have cases coming in. I'm thinking about just flipping them all, man. So,
yep.
I'm not sure what that's gonna be like, but it's gonna be interesting to see the next few months what happens with other releases. We found another 2020 Allen and Ginter celeb, Jared Cabreras. He's a national baseball card journalist for Barstool Sports, and he's also a podcaster. So, I'm upset though. He's a podcast. He got in this year, and we didn't get in. What the heck? Why can't we be an Allen and Ginter?
I'm still holding out hope at some time that they've got the sports card podcasters subset or insert set or something like that, and maybe someday we will find our way into Allen and Ginter.
I don't think right now, Mike. I think we might still be on a list.
Pictures there. Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe just a year, so we should be okay here soon. But yeah, here's a check. Take a look at the cards. How much fun would it be to have a trading card that you get to autograph?
Yep, that'd be awesome.
I would sit there and take my time. And,
I was supposed to be on a basketball card back in high school when I was in that 3-point contest. They'd partnered with a manufacturer to make cards of all of the teams that had made the state tournament, as well as all of the people who had made the finals of the 3-point contest and the slam dunk contest. Somehow they lost the picture that I had submitted to be put on there, and so the card never got printed. It might be one of those warehouse finds someday. There'll be a giant box of like 500 of my basketball cards from whatever factory they were using to print those. But that's the closest I've ever come to having an official basketball card. But yeah, I guess it wasn't meant to be.
The closest I ever got to a card was the the Sacramento Kings had a magazine that came out like monthly, and I was sitting behind the Kings bench once in high school. And when Michael Yogi Stewart was on the team, it's him and a coach. And for whatever reason, when they took the picture, my head's perfectly between theirs. I wasn't trying, but it looks like all three of us are sitting on the bench together, and I'm right in the conversation. And people brought it to my high school, and they're like, "Dude, you're in the." I was like, "I have that somewhere." So that's as close as I'll probably get to a card, or the little ones from Little League. I have a few of those.
Right.
So there's some discrepancies in Bowman releases. So at Cheap Friend Breaks, who we shared. Like he did like 100, Houdini. He did 100 case break of Bowman. So don't tell me this stuff was not available. But he had 100 cases. He did one break with 100 cases. There's a huge discrepancy in the number of base chrome and paper per card number in Bowman in 2020 Bowman. These are exact number of cases sorted by chrome card number. So if you take a look, let me bring this up here. He took a picture. He always has his monster boxes behind him. But you go through and so these are by hundreds out of certain cases. And you look, and the stacks aren't even close. On some of them, they're quite a bit different. And so that's tough if you're trying to open cases to make sets and sell out to people, or even trying to collect it yourself and put something together. That it wasn't as collated as it could be. I think we're at this point in time, and where we are, we expect it to be perfect almost every time, and the cards should be, very centered versus the the 70s and 80s because of the technology. But yeah, that's just kind of disappointing where you go through and there's a lot of duplication in a case.
Yeah, I had a similar situation with I think I bought about a shoebox full of paper of the base and the base prospect set. The guy kept the chrome and the color and that type of thing from all the boxes that he opened, but he sold me all the paper essentially unsorted. And I ran into similar things. I didn't think much of it, but I ran into similar things where there were some of the cards I had only 2 or 3 of, and others that I had like 12 or 13 of, out of that. And so I experienced that same thing. And it was all over the board. It wasn't just like good guys or not as good guys. Like it was kind of all over the board of who it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen cases where somebody opened, a case and they pulled like 3 or 4 Dominguez autos of different colors, or Bobby Witt. It's like, that's what I love about Topps, is because you never know what it's like.
Yep.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But with Panini, if you pull the star, the case is done for that guy. Like in football, if you were to pull Kyler Murray, a Prizm autograph of Kyler Murray out of that case, or contenders or whatever, that case is done for Kyler Murray. You're not going to get a second Kyler Murray autograph.
Yep.
And so that's where it comes into the collation stuff, where it's like, what you would prefer if you were the one that got the awesome case from Topps versus getting the bad case. But in Panini, so it's like, which one would you pick? You're always going to lean to the side that favors you, or would you like it where it's Panini, where it's always, it's like, okay, this is now a dud.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you land on that? What would you prefer? So maybe take the chances of a hot case, quote hot case, or know what that you're probably going to get at least one good one, and then the rest are going to kind of be the tiers afterwards.
I think I would land on the side of make it as random as possible. And if it truly is random, there are going to be times where a case or a box or whatever is just loaded down, but other times where you might get a dud when it comes to those hits. And so my vote would be to make it as random as possible, not specifically load up a specific number of tiered hits or tiered players in there, but make it random.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. That's much more fun.
Yep.
So the mega checklist is not officially out yet from Topps. It's been out, the product's been out over a week. Now I know Ryan Cracknell's pieced one together, but does that frustrate you as a collector where the product's been out a little while and they don't have an official checklist that's been released?
It frustrates me from Topps because Topps is usually pretty good about getting checklists out. You know, we had the whole thing where typically they're out a week in advance. I know we had the little flare up earlier this year where they were thinking about changing that and just putting them out on release day, and you know, maybe some influence got that switched back. And so this is pretty unlike Topps to have a product out that is a mainstream release and not have a checklist published. That would frustrate me from that perspective. Yeah, I'd like to know, you know, what I'm going to get, especially if I'm trying to put the set together.
Yeah. Another thing that frustrates me, and I think we've talked about this too, is that their Topps Future Stars Club, you know, we got the May ones pretty quick, or the April ones pretty quick. The May ones, I know that I had an issue where it said my card was declined, and I laughed, and I was like, okay, that's not possible, but okay. And then like 2 weeks later, it said it was charged. Okay, and that's fine. And it's just been sitting there ever since. And I've had Project 2020 cards I bought afterwards that have been notified shipped already, and that's still sitting there. And that was, I want to say that charge was almost a month ago. And like, what's going on? Because they're able to produce the on-demand stuff, and that's basically what this set is. And they're throwing a blaster box in there, so I don't know what the holdup is. And I know these are coming from the Florida part of the company, and they shouldn't be any with the shutdown and something. Florida's just like, well, we'll do it, whatever. But I don't know. Have you experienced the same thing?
Yeah, I've had the same thing. I even had the same. It was a system issue that they had with the card processing or the payment processing, and I ran into that same issue. My understanding, and I haven't got this directly from them, it was just pure assumption based on the fact that the original intent for May was Big League to be in there, right?
Yeah.
Was that the whole shutdown in Texas affected kind of the main blaster or whatever box that we were supposed to get. And while they could do the small set in Florida, since we were getting a standard issue product for the other box, that the whole shutdown impacted the logistics of getting those put together. And I was assuming that that's the case. I am surprised that we haven't got any kind of update on what's going on with it. You know,
yeah.
It's still pending in my orders as processing. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't heard anything of like, hey, yeah, we know it's June 10th now, and these have not shipped yet. Here's what's going on and when you can expect to get it. I mean, we've gotten updates recently about the Montgomery Club and what's coming up next with the Montgomery Club and that type of thing, but it's been kind of silent for the Future Stars Club.
Well, it doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy feeling. I went to click on it, the club, and it says, you know, shop now, and it just says, just missed it. And I understand that, you know, May has been closed, but there's no other information on the website referring to that, to the club and what's been involved. So that's fun. We'll wait and see. I mean, it's not a huge output of funds. I like the little set in there, and I figured, you know, if my card truly had been declined, I missed out. I was just going to buy the other cards on the secondary market, and whatever at the blaster. But we'll see what it is, because I heard they were going to change the Series 1, and you know, I don't know. I just like some kind of communication a month after I paid you where it is. So they're coming out with, they announced this week a 2020 Topps Chrome Black coming in November. The boxes will have just 4 cards, including 1 autograph and 1 refractor. They will feature a black backdrop and an overall dark elements. Cards will be a mix of chrome and matte finish, and according to Topps, it's the first combination they've ever done. It's an underguard base set with a mix of stars and rookies. Now, I pre-ordered some boxes, and we'll see if I get those and what happens there. But I've heard they're going for like $150 on blowout already, and that's quite a bit more than the actual wholesale price for 4 cards. They better be banging 4 cards.
Did you order them through your distributor or through Topps?
I did, through my distributor.
Okay. So it is going to be a retail product or like through a hobby shop product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had heard mixed feedback on that, whether it was going to be online or through hobby shops.
Yeah. The one online product that I want to miss out this year is Black. Allen Ginter Black.
Yeah. The
Why it's just so beautiful.
Yep.
But no, this, like, I didn't really know what it was, but I was like, I might as well put my pre-order in and see. And like at that point, that's just a flip for me. That's going to be resell spot of it if I get any, based on my other pre-orders and what I've put in, and the spend. And it's so, let me tell you, dude, it is crazy. And I talked to somebody that's been working with the same distributor for 10 years now, and they spend quite a bit more than I do. And they're still having trouble getting product, even when they were able to get product over the last few years. So, it's one of these things. And it's just, everybody's trying to get in, and that's fine because that makes everything else more fun. And again, collect what you can afford, collect what you want, collect how you want, and you'll be okay. Find your way. It takes a little bit of time. Find your way. You'll be all right. You can't collect it all, right? But you'll find your way. And, this is meant to be fun. You can invest your time. You can invest your money in cards or whatever you want to do, and tiddlywinks or, widgets. So.
Yeah, and be willing to adapt. That's another thing that I keep telling people. I went from 2017, 2018, where I was pre-ordering and buying 16 cases of sealed product to now 0 in 2020 because of the way allocations and all of those things have impacted it. And that money that I'm using to buy and sell, that's now going more and more to collections, and I'm going after bigger and bigger collections. And so that's been, fantastic. And so you just have to be willing to adapt and not get anchored to one way of doing it.
Yeah. And here we go. File 5 ball shops. And Mike, in 3 months on ComC, started with $20 of cards. Now I have 400 cards in my store. It's all about one card a day.
That's awesome.
That's if you guys don't want the hassle of going into your eBay store or your Sport Lot store and picking and packing and shipping everything, which I know some people don't want to do, pay ComC to do it. Yep. They take a little money, you pay them a little bit of money, you make some money, you go buy, and then you take that store money and you go buy other stuff on that site from other people, and you turn and you can flip. James Good, who used to work at ComC, constantly now is posting cards he's bought for $25 on there, and he sold for $100 days later. And sometimes, and that's a big extravagance, but I've seen him buy a card for $2 and sell it for $7. $5 on that's a great return. And he didn't have to do anything but sit in front of his computer and get to look at baseball or sports cards all day, right? Or whenever he did. So there's a lot that you can do in this and have fun with. And I think that's super cool to hear that. I'm glad you're in. I've been a big fan of ComC. It's a great thing to take $20 and go have some fun in the store and see what you can buy, and then what you can turn around and sell.
Yeah, that's how I started on there, was with $10 back in late 2015, I guess it was. Also, right, a few months after I got started, I put on $10 just to mess around with it and started flipping some of the low dollar things on there. Worked up that, had cards shipped to me. It's, I don't intend this to be a commercial for ComC, but it's been a fantastic platform to do that. And I love buying cards for a penny on there and selling them for a quarter and 30 and 35 cents. And that happens regularly as well with, again, a no risk flip, buying cards for pennies and selling them for quarters or 30, 35 cents. And that happens. I get those sales all day long. And I've been able to slowly but surely grind that in, have my sales cover the cost of submissions that I keep sending in to keep Steph busy. And I'm up to 57,000 cards on the site now, and growing, growing every day. And so, yeah, it's another great platform, and you don't have to do any of the work if time is important to you.
Yeah. And they're definitely, I mean, Real McCoy's here said, yeah, he just sent a bunch of cards in for the first time, and they're experiencing some delays because of COVID. Definitely because Washington was one of the most hard-hit spots, and that's where a lot of them are. But they are working through it. Trust me, I've sat down with the CEO, Tim, and he is an awesome guy. They have some new stuff coming out, and hopefully they're going to have that out soon with an app that I've seen.
That app. I want that app.
Oh, it was amazing. And they're a really collector-centered. He collects. Most of the people there collect. I ran into a lot of them. You know, Steph works there. Rich Klein works there. So these, you know, those guys are involved. Angelo works there. I ask them a lot of questions and try to peel back the curtain a little bit, and they tell me what they can, you know, without getting in trouble. But they have a lot of good stuff, and it's not for everybody. But the best thing is, if you don't want to pay the fees of shipping cards in, then just take some money and plop in $10, $15, and then go buy some cards and then start selling them and start building it that way. It might take some time, but it's a lot of fun. And, you know, this wasn't on the list here, Mike, but I kind of want to get into it. Somebody tweeted out today, you know, me looking at cards on Craigslist and, you know, OfferUp and yada, yada. I have 15 bent and wrinkled cards for $1,500. Mike Sommer. Yeah, I just bought some pristine mint rookie cards, thousands and thousands of them for $25.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, that stuff is out there. And then, two, it's also making connections. You know, I've talked to the guy that owns my LCS and some of the guys that work there. I said, hey, if anybody's looking to dump stuff, you let me know. I'll come by and clean it up for you. Or if you guys pass on stuff, let me know. I'll come in and you know, see if it's worth my while to pick it up and spend the time to go through it. Because let me tell you, I got a quote donation the other day, and there was a lot of good stuff in there. And one of the cards, just a random, I was going through a bunch of 91 tops. There was a brand new mint condition, awesome Chipper Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not life changing, but at the same point in time, I didn't pay for the card. I can turn around and put the card out. You know, so I bought collections for a couple $100, and most of my stuff for my shows came from that collection. It was a great start. You know, I know you found some stuff as well.
Yeah, just recently, I've got a similar relationship with my local LCS. And so we've got a good relationship where he likes to focus on the higher end stuff. He knows I like to focus on the lower end stuff. But we've got a good deal worked out where people bring in a whole collection, and instead of him having to risk offending them by saying, I'm really only interested in these 10 or 20 cards. I don't want those other 15,000 base cards. He's saying, yep, I can take it. Here's what I can give you for it. He knows to give me a call and I'll come pick up all the base cards. And we both come out ahead at the end of the day. I've got relationships that I've got with some other people I know in town who like to open a lot of product, who really only like to focus on the autos and the relics and, you know, the lower numbered serial numbered cards, and I will buy the rest from them. I put ads out that, hey, I'm looking to buy. Let me know if you're trying to do some spring cleaning and clear out that old collection. And that's actually where my most recent collection that I picked up for $60 came from. And it was a whole mess of cards. And, you know, there ended up being a couple hundred Jordans and Griffies and some fairly rare 90s basketball inserts buried in there. But there was about 25,000 cards that had been dusty and mouse turds in the box and all kinds of stuff. There's a bunch of junk too, but there's probably $600 worth of cards that I got out of that $60 collection. Yeah. That kind of stuff is out there, but you've gotta look, you know, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace.
I might be crazy, but how much fun is it to grab a random box and just dig through it and not know what's in there?
I almost have as much fun doing that than I do opening a sealed wax box.
But you come up and you see like a vein of cards in like penny sleeves.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, what's in that? So I was kind of like, wait to get to that. I'm like, I'm not going to dive in and eat those cookies first. So I'll go through the vegetables and I'll work my way there. Or a whole roll of like top loaders. Like, okay, they thought these cards were worth putting in a top loader whenever. So that's I might just be sick in the head, but that's a lot of fun. So.
And the other thing that I tweeted out, you know, at that same time, and I would remind people of when you're trying to value some of those collections is don't forget the trade value of the Cubs cards, even the junk wax era Cubs cards. to Bo, because you can load up all those Cubs cards and usually get something that's fun that you're going to enjoy from Bo and trade for those too. So
And
that's another component.
Royals and Giants cards.
And the Royals and Giants, I think Tim is interested in those maybe even.
Yeah, no, that's no, and it's fun. So, and the thing is like sometimes they're crazy prices, but I found if you go and go, hey, listen, like I do this for a living or whatever, and you kind of lay that down that you're an expert and say, hey, those aren't really worth that. I don't want to offend you on an offer, but are you open to any offers? It kind of like how badly do you need to move these? It kind of helps out. Use communication and try to, if they say, hey, I'm open to anything, throw out a crazy offer and say, hey, this is the most I can go, and see what they say. The worst thing they're going to say is no and not let you buy it.
Yeah, and not every one is going to work out, and that some of them aren't going to be worth checking and aren't going to be worth tracking down, and some of them might not even be worth making an offer on, but there are ones that will work out well for you and that you will find people that are willing to negotiate and charge a reasonable price. And so they're out there, but it takes a little work. People aren't just going to hand it to you.
Yeah. God, but a little work. I don't want to do a little work. I don't want to invest that time. Project 2020, there's been some issues, and Mike needed a Snickers the other day, and I thought it was great. Collectors have issues with some of the cases, some air bubbles. I know there were some that had, quote, body hairs in them. We're going to call them mustache hairs. What have you seen? What's going on? And what's your opinion on this? I mean, you had some that were in a fire, so
right.
It doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah. We've got old Mike Trout right here in multiple pieces that got soaked with a fire hose and sat in a mag case for 2 weeks before it made it back to me. So, I know people have different opinions on this, but I just don't get all of the angst over what case it came in. In my opinion, you're buying a card, you're not buying a case. And I just don't understand how people are getting so upset over, oh, mine's not Ultra Pro, it's BCW. This is ridiculous. I've gotten them all. The cards still look great. And that's kind of what I'm focused on. And so I understand there's some issues there. It'd be one thing if, and I know a couple people have actually had some cracked cases or things like that, where it's, and it scratched the card underneath because the case was damaged. That's different to me. Then it's impacting the actual card you're buying. But I just can't get worked up over whether my card came in a BCW mag case or a Ultra Pro mag case or whatever it might be.
Yeah. As long as the card's not been damaged, I'm okay with it. They're so beautiful. And like, I feel like we're such so the world is just nothing any of us have ever experienced before. So we have a pandemic. On top of that, we have all the social injustice that's been going on that's been brought to the forefront, and just our real world situations, right? Like everything has just been, I feel like we're like Back to the Future when they had Bizarro 1985 and Marty McFly went back and his house was like, and the town was burning down and it was like the casino and Biff was the mayor. I feel like somehow we ended up there. And on top of that, in our collecting world has just been like on fire all of a sudden. And I think it took a lot of us, but I'm surprised on them where it is, because I figured they would recess some, if not a lot. And it's not done. It's gone completely the other way. And so we had all these people investing in buying lots and lots of 2020 Project 2020 cards and turning around and making, killing on them. And then that's kind of come back down and gone back and forth. And
yep.
I like Mike, we haven't had you on the show since this has really happened. What like, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, what are your thoughts on the whole thing where, you know, a $17 card, $20 card is being sold for, you know, a couple hundred or $1,000?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I have kind of said I missed the mark on this product when it first came out, and I didn't give it the time of day. I started paying attention a little bit as I started to see every card kind of selling for $30, $35, $40. You know, when they were first coming out, I was like, man, every one of these is selling for double what people paid. Maybe I should start paying attention a little bit. And I would have been happy starting to buy some of these and selling them for 30, 35 bucks, making 50% return on my purchase. But when we hit that point in mid-May, when things just shot through the moon, you know, that was irrational exuberance. I mean, those prices weren't justified. There was a lot of interest on that, but people were reselling cards that hadn't even been shipped yet for more and more money. And, you know, people, it was just out of control and went way beyond where it should have and what is fair. And now we've had it come crashing down to a much more balanced or I don't know, a more moderate return. A lot of those early cards people are still going to be thrilled who bought them direct from Topps for 16, 17 bucks and still selling in the hundreds or even over 1,000 for some of those. I think it's going to be interesting as we start to get some of the cards with real high print runs in hand, where things go. What are those real prices doing? Because a lot of those right now are selling at or below cost. The earlier stuff is still selling for a profit, not near as high as it was in that 10-day period, but still selling for a profit. But we've got a run of 10 or 15 cards that are selling at or below cost. We're now seeing print runs come back down a little bit too. I don't know where it's going. I'm stopping short of saying where it's going to go, but I know that we can't make a determination 25% of the way through.
No, I agree. And yeah, we still have almost 300 cards, a little under 300 cards to go at this point. Lots of stuff to come out, lots more through the year. And so I think we're going to need to revisit this going back maybe, you know, at this point next year.
Yep.
The summer of 2021, where these cards really fall. Because I can see the print run staying high for a while, and I think maybe towards the ends it tapers back off. We've seen that with Topps Living, where there was a big giant peak, and then it kind of slowly just fell down, and it's kind of leveled out of where it's always been, around 2,000 cards now a week. My thing is originally when you bought the card for say $17 or $20, depending if you bought it from someone or you bought a bunch of them or you bought one directly from Topps, and if you sold that card for say $50, you paid $24. In a rational world of collecting, you would have been very happy with your return on your investment of $20 to make 50, or to sell for 50 and make 30. The fact is, when they went up to 1,200, now people all of a sudden were like, that's where I have to be. And it's like, guys, gals, like, it's not going to happen every day. And they're like, Kevin Jones said, hey, I cashed in 2 cards for about $350 a piece at the right peak. I'm okay with that and playing with house money. Awesome. You know, there was a couple, like I've been buying Brett's, I've been buying the bundle, whoever comes with them. And I also did that with McGuire, and a couple of those ended up being Jeters. So, you know, I'm going to hold and see where the market plays. And if I can, so I bought the card basically for $15. If I sell it for anything more than that, well, I'm happy.
Yeah. I bought a couple of the Mattingly and the Trout, 33 and 35 to kind of test things out. I bought 10 of each. And when I got those Mattinglys in, kept one for myself, sold the other 9 all to the same person the day I listed them for like $38 each. And I was thrilled, you know. Eventually they spiked up to $400 or $500 or something, but have come back down quite a bit there. But like you said before, you know, I was thrilled to double my money, or a little bit over double my money in essentially 2 weeks. Now, starting with card 57, I was buying a lot again. I was buying 10 of each for about 6 or 7 cards, I think, 5 or 6 maybe. And I scaled that back a little bit as the shipping delays started to creep in and the print run started to creep in, and started buying 5 of each for 10 or 15, 20 cards, something like that. And then fortunately for me, once the print run started to get real high, I was only buying 2 of each. And so some of those right now that are selling at or below cost, I've only got 2 of each coming, one for me and one to sell. I'm still not real comfortable on if prices have settled all the way, and I'm going to be treating this like I treat all of my other collecting, as it's got to be self-sustaining. I love the product. I'm real excited about it. I think the cards look great, but it's real expensive even at buying that direct cost from Topps. I will stop if I can no longer be self-supporting through the buying and the selling of it. And we'll just, let it go. And so my plan right now is I might be scaling back for a couple weeks just to 1 of each, to kind of use some of the profits from some of the other ones that I've got in hand now to cover the cost of those and keep it moving, just to see where some of these other prices settle over the next couple weeks. But I really enjoy it as a product. I still think if you're collecting it for your PC, it's expensive unless you're able to fund it through the sales of other cards to keep it self-sustaining. And so that's kind of where I'm landing on it right now, sitting here at card 108 or 110 or wherever we're at right now. So, but I'm tracking it every day. I build out the Project 2020 landing page on waxpackhero.com, where I'm kind of tracking some of the key stats and photo checklists and that type of thing. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. And there's still a lot of interest. It's already moved up to be the most trafficked page on the site. And so there's still a lot of people who are checking it out. And I think that might be one of the things where we don't see a direct replication of the living set where interest started to fade, is I think that the fact that we've got these 20 different artists and we've got some of their fan base coming over, we've got all focused on 20 iconic players of 20 iconic cards. I think those types of things add enough difference that there will still be a little more long-term interest in the project throughout the year.
Yeah, and for all of us included, people making money just collecting it, keeping it, whatever you're doing with it, let's all pray to whoever we believe in, or entity, thing, item, that Topps doesn't do a Project 2021.
I've heard there's not going to be one for baseball, but there's a possibility for having something similar for one of their other licenses.
Yeah, then that'd be fine. I'm okay with that. Dr. Beckett and I talked about, God, how gorgeous would it be if they could do a similar thing for football or basketball. Now, a lot of the early football stuff, Topps owns the rights to the cards, and and that'd be outstanding. And they don't as much in basketball; it's hit and miss there. But just think about how beautiful that would be to have another sport. And that's I would love to see another sport do this. I don't think that Panini has the ability to do that, just because they'd have to borrow so much from Topps to create that iconic image from the card. So it's a very interesting topic. It's a very I think hot button thing with collectors right now. And at first I bought $400 for Brett's set, but now that I see the cards and what they are, I'm fine with doing $20 every couple weeks to get a Brett card. And I've bought, I think, 2 Maguires and 1 Tony Gwynn. Have been outside of that, and that's just because the cards caught my eye. Like, I thought they were too beautiful not to have. And if they get to a certain point where people are paying awesome, amazing, giving amazing value for them, they will be gone.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that, knowing that I have my Bretts and I'm fine. So let's get into a little bit of future talks and prospects. Big thing happens tonight, the 2020 draft. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Luis Angel Acuna, he's Ronald's little brother. He was signing some cards this week via the Topps tweeted out. And pull up the picture here of him signing, or a little video. He was signing in what looks to be probably Chrome baseball, Bowman Chrome. So he's signing some purple. And so they're Chrome baseball, and it doesn't say first on there from what I can tell. So I bet it's regular Bowman Chrome. I know they held a few guys out, and so he's an interesting guy. He's an 18-year-old kid. He signed back in July 2nd of 2018 with the Texas Rangers organization. He plays shortstop. Last year, he hit in his first professional season, he hit 342 and had 2 home runs and 29 RBI, 17 stolen bases in 51 games. He had a big on base percentage too. So that he'll have probably a little hype that he's the little brother of one of the best young guys in the league. He plays an offensive position. He plays shortstop. We know how hot that position can be for collecting. And I know that the Rangers are going to have another guy in that who's his first Bowman cards are in 2020 Bowman, but doesn't have autographs. So his autograph's been held back to be put in Bowman Chrome.
Okay.
And Lara is his last name. And so he will be in there. So if you're, finding any Bowman Chrome, the Rangers will probably be hot this next release. But we had the 2020 MLB draft start tonight. It takes place today and tomorrow. Back in March, the MLB and the MLBPA reached a deal that would include option to shorten the draft to 5 rounds and also shorten the 2021 draft to 20 rounds. They opted to move it to 5 rounds in a plan that will allow teams to sign an unlimited amount of free undrafted players for $20,000 a piece. So there's going to be a huge free agency signing following the draft on Friday. Just to give you an idea, in the 2019 draft, there were 41 rounds. So they've cut out, a good, 80% of the draft this year, and next year they're cutting it by 75%. So my math's not right there, but you know what I mean. Math was not my forte there, but it's crazy because these guys are going to go to the minor leagues, and a good point was brought up that there were teams that said, "Hey, we're not playing our minor leaguers," like the Red Sox, and then they cut a bunch of guys. The Royals said, "Hey, we're going to keep all of our minor leaguers. We're going to pay them all." I think the Twins even said that they were giving their guys a bump. One of the teams was giving all their guys a bump. The Twins, I know, said they were going to keep them. So it's very interesting to see. And somebody alluded to on Twitter that he was a MLB reporter, and he'd reached out and talked to some agents of players that might not get drafted. And the fact that they're looking to the Royals to sign, and some of those teams that said that they were going to keep paying their minor leaguers even though they're not playing right now, as a good landing spot. Boy, howdy. We all know the Royals could use some help. And there was some really – Dan O'Dowd said it last night on MLB Network that there are going to be a lot of undrafted future MLBers from this year because there's a lot of MLB talent that comes after the 5th round.
Yep.
And a lot of first and second round busts. Here's the first 5 picks tonight. I don't want to get too in detail, but you can search what the draft is. The Detroit Tigers had the number 1 pick, and they took a first baseman, Spencer Torkelson, out of Arizona State. The Orioles took outfielder Heston Gierstadt from Arkansas. Miami Marlins took pitcher Max Meyer out of Minnesota. The Kansas City Royals selected pitcher Asa Lacy out of Texas A&M. And the Toronto Blue Jays took a shortstop, Austin Martin, out of Vanderbilt. He was projected to be a top 2 player, if not in battle for the first pick, and fell to 5. I was really hoping the Royals would snag him. But I've heard the pitcher they got's pretty good. Now, I also heard somebody say, well, the Blue Jays are set at shortstop. They have Bo Bichette. And it's like, man, you take who you think's the best player because you don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years. He could have an injury. He could not pan out. He might get too fat to play the position, and they have to move him. Because we all know Vlad Guerrero is not a long-term third baseman. He's going to have a DH.
Or they turn into trade bait.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there. These guys, a lot of these guys, except for the kid picked by Baltimore, will be in Bowman draft because they always keep that second pick out to put in Bowman the following year. I have a thing with names. Just like when you say a player's name, like they should sound. You should have a good feeling and like successful name. Like you say like
Mike
like
Sommer.
Orlando Pace, right? Like Orlando Pace. That sounds like a football player, right? Like you think about like that's, but you say Spencer Torkelson. To me, that just doesn't have the feeling of like that guy is gonna make it. That guy is gonna be awesome. I don't know, it's just me. Like Andrew Vaughn, like that sounds like that's a good baseball player name. Spencer Torkelson, not so much, right? Am I wrong on that?
No, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I'm interested to see, it's a shortened draft. There's going to be free agent signings. We might not even have a minor league baseball game all year, right? Are we going to have a Heritage Miners product? Are we going to have a Bowman Draft product? Is it going to be all airbrushed college pictures, from when they were in college or high school, and just airbrush the entire uniforms? I'm curious to see how this plays out for those minor league focused products that come late in the year.
Yeah. Torkelson's from around my area, Northern California, and was undrafted out of high school. So you think back, there were 40-odd rounds when he was in high school and he didn't get picked. And maybe it was a signability thing for him. And he bombed and had like 25 home runs his freshman year at ASU. He was 3 away from breaking Bob Horner's record at ASU. He passed Barry Bonds and was going to pass Bob. And he actually said that Horner was upset, and probably more upset that he didn't get to break the record. He said it needed to be broken, and he couldn't believe it. And he was the number 1 overall pick out of ASU back in, I think, 77 or 78 for the Braves. Had a pretty decent career. Had awesome blonde curly hair. Always love that. But no, I think it's been interesting to see. I think they had just the first round tonight and the extended part of the first round. I think there were like 41 first-round picks this year because of all the added picks and, whatever. So be interesting to see. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Sports Card Expo, they're going to have a virtual edition this year. It's going to start next week on the 19th and 20th, so Friday, Saturday. Be part of the very first sports card or online sports card and collectible show. Buy, sell, and trade in real time with collectors and dealers from across Canada, the United States, and beyond. Check out Sports Card Expo Virtual Edition powered by eBay from the comfort of your own home shop. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat so everybody can go and check it out. You can buy, sell, and trade on the spot by video chat or chat with the comfort of your own home or store. Attendees get the benefit of face-to-face contact with dealers and booths, exhibits from both the United States and Canada. Or you can go with a direct link to their eBay store. Participate directly with guests as they appear on the, quote, main stage. Watch case breaks, auctions, and interact with others at the expo. You can chat with friends and meet other collectors. So far, they have featured guests are going to be Reggie Jackson and Phil Esposito. So,
yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know Sports Card Investor had announced that they were going to be trying to host kind of a virtual national, at the same dates as the original national were going to be, to try to do something similar to bring the community together and try to figure out a way to let some of the vendors be able to sell virtually, still have some other presentations and things like that go on. So I know there's a few of these types of things that people are working on putting together. I think there's even a real small scale one that, I don't know, one of the other podcasts was talking about that someone had tried to do. I think if anything, this is going to try out a whole new thing that we'll learn from. Is this popular at all? Do people enjoy it? Or does it completely flop? And so we'll have at least a couple quote unquote significant attempts at this by a couple different people over the coming months. And so I'm curious to see how it goes over.
Yeah. And I think basically tickets are free. You just have to log in and register.
Yep.
And they're doing some kind of giveaway for the first so many people to register. I know with my company, some people attended a convention on Monday virtually. Where they had like booths, and it was kind of like they said it looked a lot like a Sims, where you walk up, you have a virtual person, and you get to walk up to booths and then there's like a chat box you can click on, or you can do a video chat with the person there. And this is pretty interesting. They said the system could have been better organized, but for to find people. But I'm just kind of excited to see what it would be like. I mean, I don't think anything tops going. I mean, last year was my first one, and it was mind blowing and mind numbing and body it's like still there were like I think back about it, and it seems like a whole dream. How much fun that was. So to go and experience, and I'd love to be there in 2021 in Chicago again. I think it's a great venue and a great location. Personally, not being to any of the other ones, but I thought it was very well set up and easy to get to and organized, and you got to meet a lot of people, so that was the best part about it. There was, as we wrap up tonight, there was a great tweet out by Gleaverbombs on Twitter tonight. What sport are you buying? The question was, what sport are you buying the most of right now? Comment below if other. The options were baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. There were 141 votes. Mike, how did you or would you have voted in this?
Just based on facts, it's been baseball. But again, that's because that's what's coming. That's what I got from the Bowman cards that I bought from both the guy that I know that breaks, as well as Dan here who's chimed in chat. He's the one who found some of the hanger packs for me and passed those on to me. And so it's been baseball. And so that's just the facts.
Yeah. So soccer got 3.5%. Football got 5.5%. Basketball 15.5%, and baseball won with 70% of the votes. And I think we're in quote baseball season. There's more products available. Well, a little more product available. Basketball has just been priced crazily. So I mean, if you can find it, then good for you. If you're buying the boxes, enjoy. I truly have not seen a product, any sport, so overpriced in the hobby since I've come back.
Yeah, it is up there.
Zion and John Morant, and I understand like Barrett was okay, Rui was okay, but these guys really haven't shown. I think your money, to me personally, your money's better spent going back a few years and picking up some singles of these other guys from the 17-18 class or the 18-19 class or than the 19-20 class. That's just my opinion, but I think, I
can't. I mean, singles are the way to go, and if I throw online what I've been buying online in there, I'd say hockey is probably hockey is about what I bought the most of, and that's because I'm flipping penny cards on ComC, and I bought 3,000 2,000 or 3,000 hockey cards probably the other day for 1 to 2 cents each.
And it's, by the way, those boxes are still the same price what they were before.
Yep.
So, Mike wants to know how many cards do you have in your collection? Do you ever get overwhelmed by the quantity?
They come over time. Sometimes when I buy a big major collection, it can get a little bit overwhelming because it takes time to work through. I have about 140 to 150,000 cards that are for sale on Sport Lots right now. I've got what did I say earlier, about 57,000 for sale on ComC, and so those are in ComC's inventory, and I've got a few hundred for sale that are on eBay, but I probably have about 100,000 in my own personal collection as well. And so, at times it can get overwhelming, but organization is key. Having a process is key to be able to get things sorted, organized, and listed. And it stays kind of manageable because of that. Yeah.
I was just looking around. I when all this work at home stuff started, I was able to purge over about 100,000 cards, which I no longer felt a need to keep, and move those on to team collectors. And I felt really good about that. I probably have 500,000 in here. Not all are part of my PC. I have probably a few thousand, about 1,500 or so on my eBay store right now. I sold my Com Seaport a while back when I started everything. I kind of wanted a clean slate, and I've gone through and I've have some stuff to send in there, but I'm going to kind of wait for them to get back up and fully running before I send that in. And working on spore lots and kind of figuring out what I want to do there and find my lane, because there's a lot of stuff on there, and find out what I have that might be a little bit underpopulated on the site.
Yep.
Maybe take advantage of that. So I've been doing some research there. I mean, I have I have a lot of Bretts, and I've pared down to a lot of Royals and Giants cards. And then my biggest part of the collection is my rookie cards. Like I'm such a nerd for rookie cards. Like that's like I don't really collect football, but this was like $1 the other day, and I think he's a stud. And for $1, it's like I'm not passing that card up for $1. I picked up a couple of Andrew Luck rookie cards. These are just sitting on my desk for a couple bucks the other day. I know he's retired. And so it's like I try to go back and collect some of the guys I loved as kids I didn't have, like Strawberry Rookies and Doc Gooden and Wade Boggs and stuff. The cards I could not afford as a kid, I've been buying those.
Sure.
To keep in the collection. So I like the chat here about Kendrick Nunn from Kevin Jones. He's a real dark horse. Yeah. And he hasn't been in a lot of products. And I believe he's going to have a Prizm card in that one where they put everything together, Chronicles.
Yep.
So, yeah. Kevin Jones also wants to know if you have any 2000s Turkey Red football, baseball or baseball or basketball stuff.
I do have some. You can check that. They're all going to be on Sport Lots. And so I know I've got some baseball and football. There might be some basketball on there too.
What's your handle on there?
Triplutz, TRIPLUTZ.
Yeah, I bought some stuff from that guy before. It got shipped pretty quickly. Yeah. So we had one viewer question that came in on Twitter from @PackPold. Is it safe to say that when a sports card product makes its debut on the market and the production numbers are relatively low, you have a better chance of pulling something really nice out of a box or case rather than years after they debut? Yes. I would say I would agree with that. There's been products in the past where they weren't sure how well it was going to do, and they didn't produce as much. Or it wasn't really because with Topps you order so far and they kind of print to order, and so maybe it wasn't as well pre-ordered, and then it came out as a banger, and then the next year they knew they had something awesome and then they overdid it, and it lost its luster. Kind of like back in the day when Gatorade released flavors. I swear to God, when I was a kid in like high school, because I would have Gatorades for football and stuff, is that when a new flavor came out, there was more sugar in the drink, and then as it got released later and later, the formula slightly changed and it didn't always taste the way it did originally. And, I don't know if that's true or not, but that was always a theory I believed, that over time it changed. So,
yeah, I mean, I think what I would caution somebody for is still check the checklist before you go too deep. Because, while it's true, it's not going to matter if they didn't put any of those big name players in the product itself, right? So you still want to check the checklist just to make sure that those players are even in there. But yeah, sometimes those first runs of a product can be some of the fun ones to get in on. And, if it does catch fire, you've also got something that's going to have a lot of interest into the future of having that first set or key rookies or whatever it might be that you're trying to put together from that first release. We're seeing that a lot with Prizm right now. The first year of Prizm is starting to take off as well. It's becoming a desirable product. So yeah, don't overlook a brand new product. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. Sometimes an underperforming product with a draft class like in Prizm basketball, 13-14, Anthony Bennett stunk. I mean, Oladipo was okay. Giannis was late, and he took him a few years to develop. Now that product's just insane. So, Mike, any final thoughts before we head out tonight, bud?
No, I just had a lot of fun coming on the show. I was glad I was able to fill in for Steph, and as he's off traveling around the Great White North, and so close to my neck of the woods at this point, just a little bit further up there, I think.
Yeah, he's up there. It was funny because everything kind of got started by just me putting a picture of you and saying you're going to be on the show tonight. So. Oh, and then we weren't really involved for a while, and then things. Cool heads will prevail in the long run. I hope you appreciate the picture. I tried to find a really nice one of you.
That was fantastic. I love the headshot with the mustache. Another thing that's going to be capturing the mustache on into the future. That's looking back at this whole thing, that might be my favorite part about this whole COVID-19 situation. Is that's what bumped me finally over to get on TikTok. And first TikTok post at the end of March. I was about 3 days into the Corona stash at that point, and pretty much every day since then, I've had a TikTok video put out, and you just get to see it grow bigger and bigger and bigger, thicker and thicker. And so it's providing like a whole time lapse of the growth of the mustache as things go there on TikTok. And so, yeah, it's been fun doing that kind of stuff too.
Well, yeah, like I agree. Like I've never really I've grown like a mustache or a goatee for like a week or a month or two, maybe a month, right? And then I get rid of it. And so this time I was like, you know what? Until I go back to work, I'm really gonna. And I've tried to clean it up, and my wife helped trim it up the other day, but I'm just gonna kind of let it go and see what happens. And so it's fun. And by the way, that I shared your dad joke from TikTok.
Oh yeah,
with everybody about can't even.
Yep.
Yeah. It was awesome, and that is an app that's a dirty dark hole that if you get on one night, like I was on Monday night, I was on there until I just said I'm going to be on this for a little bit, like 20 minutes, and went through. Like an hour and a half passed. Everybody's asleep. I'm going through it. Then my phone's is about to die, and I'm like, I could charge it. So no, I'm going to stay on until my phone dies. And I found some cool recipes and stuff on there, stuff to make, but there are some so funny jokes like. Or people farting in a bag and telling their dad it's helium, and he's, like there's just some crazy stuff on there. And if you need a laugh, if you're in a spot where you're just not having a great day, go flip through TikTok for 10 or 15 minutes. I guarantee you will have a good time.
It's fun. I've been just using it to play around with things. The other day I used one of the filters that I found on Snapchat actually that dubs a mouth on somebody else's face. And I held up a Heritage Mike Trout card and have him lip syncing along with me to Dance Monkey. I had that video where I saved a turtle out of our local retention pond.
I was gonna say that was a good video until I saw the one with the dog today that Rex Chapman posted where the people made a human chain to rescue it, but yours was a close second to that. But
it has awesome. Now 540,000 views on TikTok. Does that qualify as going viral? I don't know, but 540,000 views for my turtle TikTok video.
That's so awesome.
I went from 0 to, I'm not being paid by TikTok either, but 0 to 2,200 followers in 3 months so far. And so it's just fun. I'm having a ton of fun with it.
Yeah. By the way, if my daughter was old enough to use TikTok, I would not let her based on some of the women I've seen on TikTok. Yeah. So I send my wife the fun ones. Yeah. The looks I get. No, but you know how we know TikTok's not cool anymore? You and I are on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're at that age in our lives now where we're like when I found out, my mom and dad found out about Baby Got Back when I was in 5th and 6th grade, I found out that song was no longer cool because my dad came home one night from some party they were at. And he was singing Baby Got Back. And I'm like, oh, that song's done. So, remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central. Remember to watch the Hobby Hotline this Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and also check out Monday's Hobby Hotline Heat Edition. Call in with any questions, comments. We appreciate the support there. It's been fun. Mike's on. Mike's been part of the gang we have. It's been a lot of. I've really enjoyed it. I think the Monday show is a little different, which is nice. We kind of preview the week and other things going on, and gives maybe a different audience to hop in and hang out. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. You can always follow Mike at the Mike Sommer. You can always follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories, great pulls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good night.
See ya.